Our Leafs reporter Mark Masters joining us ahead of another big game tonight for Toronto, taking on one of the giants of the Western Conference, the Colorado Avalanche. Nathan MacKinnon and Auston Matthews are two of the best centers in the NHL, Mark. Matthews coming off maybe his best game of the season, or one of them. Do you expect to see Craig Berube match Matthews against MacKinnon, or does he try to avoid that tonight?
No, he'll match him. I mean, we saw that in Colorado a couple weeks ago, and we're going to see that again here tonight. I think both teams comfortable with that matchup, and I think hockey fans are certainly comfortable with it. It's going to be awesome to watch two of the biggest stars in the league go head-to-head, and MacKinnon's leading the NHL in scoring this season. I was just in the Avalanche room, and they believe he's better this year than his MVP season last year. You know, Cale Makar thinks he's gone away from the one-timer a little bit. Now he's got those quick snappers going, and that's kind of added a new dimension to his game. Jared Bednar said that MacKinnon really carried the weight for the team early in the year when they were dealing with injuries and they were a little thin, and that's shown that he was even more valuable this year. So what a test this is going to be for the Leafs. MacKinnon plays more than any other forward in the league. He plays about 19 minutes at even strength every night. Matthews and Mitch Marner are at around 16 minutes, so it won't just be the top line that will be relied on to shut down Nathan MacKinnon tonight. You know, they're going to have to get contributions up and down the lineup. I asked Craig Berube, you know, how do you slow down MacKinnon? And he said, I don't know. If you have an idea, tell me before game time. And then he said, you know, listen, it's the same as Connor McDavid, basically. You got to try and slow him down in the neutral zone. Get that line playing in their own end as much as possible. And don't take penalties. Don't put them on the power play. That Avalanche power play is just scary, as the Leafs found out and saw in Colorado a couple weeks ago. An interesting development down here today, as I talked about the kind of the ice time and how much MacKinnon plays. Leafs had an optional skate down here this morning. None of the regulars took part. We saw Max Domi do a skills session by himself before the optional skate started. No one was on the ice. I haven't seen that. That's the first for this season. So I just wonder if there's a directive behind the scenes from the Leafs to tell their players, you know what, save it for the game tonight. This is going to be a huge challenge. They played Monday. This is the start tonight of 3 and 4. They play tomorrow night in New York against a rested and desperate Rangers team. Then they're off to the Central Time Zone to play the Nashville Predators on Saturday. So the Leafs are saving it up for one of the biggest challenges in the NHL here tonight, Glenn.
So some strategic rest there. Now, in terms of the goaltending for the Leafs, Mark, the last month has basically been an even split in net. But now with Anthony Stolarz putting up his worst stats of the season here in the month of March, does Joseph Woll have a chance to go on a run here and secure the job, or should we expect to see the even workloads continue?
Well, yeah, I think he's got a shot. I mean, Berube's on record as saying he wants one of these guys to emerge and be the clear go-to guy at the start of the playoffs. He did say he might end up using both guys. He's done it before, but you know, ideally you want one guy to be the guy that you could just lean on. We saw Anthony Stolarz get consecutive starts against Florida and Ottawa, 2 key games at home against divisional opponents. He lost those games. The other goalie was just a little bit better, and so now Joseph Woll gets the start tonight. Consecutive starts for him after he was solid, if unspectacular. He didn't have to be spectacular against the Calgary Flames here on Monday night. So a huge, huge chance for Woll to kind of build some momentum behind his case to be the starter. He was so good when Stolarz was out with that injury. Now it's his turn maybe to kind of grab back that conversation here. He's never played the Avalanche before. It just shows you how, you know, inexperienced in a way he still is in the league. This is the last team he's never faced. So he gets that chance tonight. He's got MacKinnon. He's got Makar on the other side. Let's see what Joseph Woll can do in a primetime kind of moment here tonight.
Yeah, what a challenge for him. Now, we touched a little bit on facing the Avalanche and a superstar like Nathan MacKinnon, but you mentioned it. He's far from their only threat out there. Their stud defenseman, Cale Makar. He's 10th in NHL scoring. We recently saw him produce a 6-point game, just the third defenseman to do that in the last 30 years. Just how unique is the challenge of facing a guy like Cale Makar?
Incredibly unique. I'm not sure there's anyone. I mean, Oliver Ekman-Larsson was saying this morning he kind of skates like Quinn Hughes. They kind of work that way. That's obviously high praise, but Makar just feels like he's in a different stratosphere right now. You know, on pace for 30 goals. You know, we haven't seen that since Mike Green of the Capitals back in 08-09. Only, 8 defensemen have ever done it. So Makar, he just does it all. The Leafs are on high alert for him. Matthew Nyes, I was talking to Matthew Nyes, the top line winger yesterday. He says it's just really hard as a winger when you're approaching him at the blue line. You know, he's so good at moving on the blue line and finding those lanes and working around you. It's got to be one of the bigger challenges in the NHL, just like dealing with the speed of Nathan MacKinnon. You know, Makar's such a good skater as well. So the Leafs are going to have to be on their toes tonight with the, MacKinnon and Makar, the kind of Mac attack that the Avalanche have going for them.
Yeah, after a few months where the race for the Norris was looking like a tight one between Makar, Quinn Hughes, and even Zach Werenski, Makar now the heavy favorite at FanDuel to win the award for Best Defenseman for the second time in his career, which would add to his already Hall of Fame-like resume. And he's only 26 years old. Should be a fun one tonight. Thanks for this, Mark.